Hi, thanks for visiting Bible Mountain. This is the 8th lesson in the series of lessons in the book of Obadiah. In this lesson, I'm going to look at verse 3 and talk about pride coming before destruction. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 11 tells us this. Now these things happened to them as an example, and they were written for our instruction, upon whom the ends of the ages have come. That verse tells us that the things recorded in the Old Testament are examples for us to learn from, and we're going to look at one of those examples today. And it has to do with pride. What I'm going to do in this lesson is start by looking at 3 verses in Proverbs that tell us that pride comes before destruction, and then we'll look at Obadiah and see an illustration of pride coming before destruction, and then we'll talk about what that means for you and I living in the 21st century. So let's start in Proverbs 11, verse 2. When pride comes, then comes dishonor, but with the humble is wisdom. Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before stumbling. In Proverbs 29:23. A man's pride will bring him low, but a humble spirit will obtain honor. So those verses tell us that pride comes before destruction. Now let's take a look at Obadiah and see an example of that happening in Edom. Obadiah 1:1. A vision of Obadiah. Thus said Yahweh my Lord to Edom. We heard a report from Yahweh, and an envoy was sent among the nations. Arise, and let us stand against her for war. Behold, I made you small among the nations. You were very despised. The pride of your heart deceived you, the one dwelling in the clefts of the rock, saying in his heart, in the height of his seat, Who can send me down to the earth? Even if you are soaring as high as an eagle, and even if your nest is placed among the stars, from there I will send you down, declares Yahweh. So this is written about Edom, and we see that Edom was proud. We also see that their pride deceived them. They were proud because they lived in an area that was easily defended. What it says here is they dwelt in the clefts of the rock. So I take that to mean that where they lived was easy to defend. It's also referred to as the height of his seat. Again, that indicates an area that was easy to defend. And so Edom thought they were invincible because they lived in an area that was easy to defend. But we see at the end that Yahweh said to them, even from there, I will send you down. So what we see here is that Edom lived in an area that was easy to defend, and they became proud of that, and that deceived them. Their pride deceived them into thinking that they were invincible. But Yahweh said to them that he was going to bring them down anyway. It didn't matter where they lived or how well defended they were. He was going to destroy them, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. Now let's think about some areas where we tend to be proud of what we as humans have accomplished. Let's start with the military. The United States has a very good military. Over the last several decades, they have demonstrated multiple times the ability to go into warfare and win convincing battles while sustaining very few casualties. And so it's very tempting to become proud of our military and think that we are invincible. However, the lesson to learn from Edom and from Obadiah is that we are not invincible. Even though we have a great military, if God wants to take us down, he will do so, and there's nothing that we as a country can do to stop him from doing that. Now let's talk about insurance. In our culture, we insure ourselves against a lot of different things. We have health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, house insurance. We have liability insurance. And the point of all these insurance products is to make sure that we don't suffer a financial disaster. And so it's very tempting to become proud of all the insurance products that we have and what we've done as a society to make sure that people are safe and secure and that they won't be devastated financially. However, if God wants to devastate somebody financially, he's going to do it, and no amount of insurance is going to protect them when God decides to destroy them financially. Now let's talk about education. The conventional wisdom in our society is that people should go get a good education, and if you do that, then you'll get a good job, you'll have a good standard of living, and you'll be set for life. And it's easy to become proud of the education system that we have, not only in our society, but also in general around the world. However, if God decides that he wants someone to not have a high standard of living, it doesn't matter how much education they have, God will make sure that they live in poverty if that's what he wants to happen in their life. Now let's talk about savings accounts. And by this I mean not just savings accounts, but also retirement products, mutual fund accounts, anything like that. And again, in our culture, we have a wide array of these type of products. And it's very tempting for us to become proud of the savings that we accumulate and think that we are set for life, set for retirement, and that we are guaranteed to have a good standard of living once we retire. However, if God wants someone to not have that once they get to retirement, He will find a way to devastate them financially. And so we should be very careful about becoming proud of the savings accounts, the retirement funds that we have in our society and that we possess personally. What we have seen in this lesson is there are verses in Proverbs that tell us that pride goes before destruction. And we see an example of that in Obadiah, that Edom was proud of where they lived. They thought they were invincible, but they were not. God destroyed them anyway. And likewise, there are many areas of life today, in the 21st century, that is very tempting for us to be proud of what we've done. Our great military, insurance products, education system, and also savings. And we do a lot of those to make ourselves safe and to feel secure. However, if God wants to destroy us, He's going to do that no matter what we have done. The greatest military, the greatest insurance products, the greatest education system, and the greatest savings accounts are not going to protect us if God decides to punish someone. And so we need to be very careful that we do not become proud of what we have accomplished, but instead recognize that ultimately God is in control. If you have already joined my email list, thank you, and please send this to someone else who you believe would benefit from visiting Bible Mountain. If you have not joined my email list yet, please do so now. My email list is free. In order to join, go to BibleMountain.com, click on email, and that will take you to a page where you can sign up. Your email address will not be sold nor given away. Once again, thank you for visiting Bible Mountain.